Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to pay tribute to Paul Di'Anno of Iron Maiden, who passed away this week. And so we are going to take a look at one of the tracks that he recorded with the band on their first album. He was with Iron Maiden from 1978 until 1981, and so this period included their first two albums. I happen to have copies of both. It's funny, the first album, actually I had a CD for the longest time. I never really treated this one with a lot of respect until later on, and then I realized I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff on here and had to have the vinyl, so took care of that. This has Phantom of the Opera as the last song on side one. Okay, a lot of classics on here, including Iron Maiden, the song, which they still play in pretty much every concert.
Running Free is another one, I think.
Yep, Remember Tomorrow. It's quite a record. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And then a record that I actually was familiar with back in the day. I bought this, and this copy, as a matter of fact, back in 1984 of Killers, their second album. This album was my favorite Iron Maiden album for a long time, although I didn't mind Bruce Dickinson at all. I liked what came after this, but there was just some rawness to this album that I really enjoyed. And I still love this record. And just by the by, that lineup also put out Made in Japan. Now, by the way, all of these records can be seen, the spines can, in our opening and our outro on the videos, where you see the stack of records. And some of you might have noticed that there was a Marianne Faithfull record in there right next to the Iron Maiden. Well, that's because I found a copy of Made in Japan, but had to print out the artwork because it was just the record. And so you go in here, and here is the actual EP, live from Japan with Paul Di'Anno.
Sweet.
Yeah, with Running Free and, Remember Tomorrow, Rothschild, Killers, and Innocent Exile. All great songs. So I was really glad to get this because it's a collector's item, but I got it for a much reduced rate because I didn't have the actual cover. I am keeping an eye out and see if somebody just has a cover someday I can match this with. But anyway, that's why there's a Marianne Faithfull record next to the my Iron Maidens. So, okay, we're going to take a look at something actually from Live at the Rainbow from 1981. So this is towards the end of Paul's time with the band. I expect it to be pretty darn good, though. And matter of fact, it's possible that I have seen this way back. I'm not sure. I haven't taken a look at it. So, Adrian, is there any chance that you've seen this before?
I haven't seen any video of this song before. No, it's been a while since I heard it.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to hear it again.
Yeah, well, it would be nice to see Paul in action again here. So.
Yeah, Paul Di'Anno on vocals.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Why don't we just go ahead and check this out, and we'll talk about it after.
Song called Phantom of the Opera.
You daddy won't get away from my grave. There's no hiding behind the closed veils. And you know I know that you ain't got that last name. You understand your feelings, are just slowing things up your head. Standing in the wings there, you wait for the curtain to roll. Knowing the terror and holding you have on his own. How long the joke on his factory of many a you know I'm helpless when you're mesmerizing cacao. Keep your distance, walk away, don't take his lady. Don't you stay, don't fade away, yeah. Watch your step, he's out to get you down, my lady. Don't you stay, on the narrow way, yeah.
Talk about classic. This is classic Maiden.
Oh, big time classic. Yeah, that's like cornerstone Maiden right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like everything about this song. I haven't heard it in such a long time. I don't know why, but I haven't.
Oh, it's a beaut. I mean, that's the thing. There's so much good music. You know, it's hard to keep up sometimes with stuff that's been out a long time.
There are a lot of motifs in this song, too. I mean, there's several of them. You just keep it interesting that way. And the double solo that they did some of that was double soloing, and I thought that was pretty awesome. You know, just
Dual guitars. Yeah.
just reminds me of like other videos I've seen recently. You know, I'd say these, this reminds me of Maiden. This is why, the dual I call them double solos. I guess you could call them accompanied solos or duets or whatever. But,
Yeah, I mean, those are what I call dual guitar leads.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like Love Bites.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I've said stuff about Love Bites. Comparing them to Iron Maiden, and this video, the music you heard in this video is why.
Yeah, a lot of different motifs, as you said, different tempos. Tempos constantly changing in the song. Some really odd things. I mean, when he sings those verses, that's very strange, the way that those verses come together, without any drums or anything. It's like a guitar following along the lead vocal line, and it's just an interesting thing that he's doing. I mean, you don't hear that often, so it's very inventive. By the way, the sole songwriting credit on this song is Steve Harris, the bass player. So
right.
Harris is he's the driving force behind the band. Now, having said that, I mean, 3 of those guys on stage are still in the band. I mean, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, and Steve Harris, all still in the band. Of course, Clive Burr, the drummer, has passed away. And who else was up there? No, that was it. It was a 5-piece at that time. So, everybody who hasn't passed away is still in the band. It's great that they're still going. They're still playing shows. They just played a show, like the night before, or it was like the night after Paul's passing, because they've already mentioned it on stage. Yeah, they're a class act, I must say. But they were such a different band when Paul Di'Anno was the singer. Just in terms of the attitude, I mean, the vocals, it's amazing how much they matter in terms of how the band is going to come across. Because here it sounds like dirty prog punk almost, going on with lots of triplets and things. And then Number of the Beast comes along after Killers with Bruce Dickinson in place. They were already a different band because he's so much more operatic in sound. But there was something really cool about Paul's delivery, it's too bad in a way that it was only 2 albums worth, but such good material.
Yeah, he had like that gritty sensibility, that Bruce Dickinson doesn't have. He just has the soaring vocals, but Paul Di'Anno has kind of like the style of the gritty voice.
Mm-hmm. So at some point they had to replace him. I guess for Killers they did 132 shows, so that's a lot. And it looks like it was mostly in Europe that they were playing at that point. They did play some performances in the United States, like they opened for Judas Priest in Las Vegas, and it made it to number 78 on the USA album chart. The Billboard. By 1981, Paul Di'Anno was demonstrating increasingly erratic behavior, particularly due to his drug usage, about which Di'Anno comments, "It wasn't just that I was snorting a bit of coke, I was just going for it nonstop, 24 hours a day, every day. The band had commitments piling up that went on for months, years, and I just couldn't see my way to the end of it. I knew I'd never last the whole tour, it was too much." So it sounds like maybe it was even just an amicable separation. They both realized this is not for him. It's not a good situation anymore. Oh, it's just too bad. This was such a big problem back in the day. There are still problem drinkers and drug users in the industry, of course, but it doesn't seem to be as widespread as it once was. But anyway, the news is good. I mean, the story ended properly, and Iron Maiden's still going and still making great albums. They just put out a great album in Senjutsu a couple years ago. What more can you ask for? And it's really interesting to see them all in their early 20s there, too. And, I got to see Maiden on the Power Slave tour, which was only 3 years after that clip. And by then, they actually had an Eddie puppet, big, like 12-foot tall
Oh, yeah,
thing.
the giant Eddie. Yeah.
You know, on this particular show, you saw it was just a drawing, you know, on the back of behind the drums, which is cool. Interesting time to see them. I wish I'd had a chance to see Paul. That would have been very cool, but that's the way the ball bounces. At least it's great that he made those records and that they're in the canon and we can listen to them anytime we want. They haven't aged a day as far as I'm concerned. They still sound fantastic. So rest in peace to Paul Di'Anno, age 66. Too young, of course, but I'm sure he's rocking up there with his buddy Clive on the drums now. So, all right, folks. So why don't you let us know what you thought of this clip and what your experience is with Iron Maiden over the years. And if you ever saw Paul Di'Anno, that would be interesting to know about.
Yeah.
If you have other suggestions for us, you can leave those below. Iron Maiden can be a little tricky to react to. This particular clip is okay, but it can be tricky. So we'll do our best. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one, all right? Take care, folks.
See you all later.